So without any delay, we'll start the session. So as you know, today's session is about enhancing your email security. And we see this as a very, very important webinar in today's time because as you know, there's a lot of spammers and spoofers and there's no one in this webinar could say that I've never met with a spam email before, right? So we are all victims to spam emails. And we're going to see what are those first and how you can get rid of them. Though Zoho Mail has all the filters that you need to avoid these spam emails, let's just also have an extra knowledge of what we can do from our side to prevent ourselves from these spam emails. Okay. In this webinar, we will be covering three different audiences, choices where some will not know much about the spam emails and they just want to get an idea of what this is, and some maybe you met with all the spam emails and you also know certain features where you can prevent them from coming. And there's also another audience who have extensive knowledge of the types of spam, the advantages and the features and the causative, all that, and they are here to just know the optimum level of screening them. Yes, we will be covering all of these topics today. We will be giving you a gist. We will be giving you an overview of all that and the features available and also the preventive measures. With that being said, let's move into the agenda. Here today, I am Priyanka. As I already introduced myself, I will be the presenter, and I also have my colleague here, Sagar. He's a technical support engineer. So whatever questions that you have, when you ask them, he will be the one who gives you the answer. And the agenda for today is the introduction, where we will be seeing the email threats and its types, the detection techniques that Zoho offers for you, the solution that follows, which we will be seeing in the demo. And then last of all, we will be seeing the preventive measures that we can take to stay safe from these spam emails. The first topic is email threat. What is an email threat? Now, let's first understand that emails are one that we exchange with our professional circle to have a conversation to go forth with our business, right? But if there is a mail that is standing as a hindrance just to take up our time, or even if it is posing a threat to loot our informations, that is something called as an email threat. Email threat is classified as 4. We see it as, I'm sorry, accidentally ended my presentation. Let me just share it back again. Give me just 2 seconds. All right. I think my screen is visible back again. Now, we were talking about email threats. Yes. So we said it is of 4 types. The first is the spamming. Spamming are emails which lands in your inbox as bulk emails, and they're mostly of the marketing emails that various websites would send you, and at least they will take up your time when you open them. That's the least that they can exploit. So they will take up your time, and they will also occupy some storage in your inbox. But it also have consequences where it can rob your identity and invade your privacy. It can lead up to that as well. So that's about spam. And then you have spoofing. Spoofing is where someone sends you a mail posing to be a person who you know. The person will be anybody at all, and they will send you an email ID that you recognize. That's called spoofing. So we tend to trust those people, and we might give away our informations, or we might get caught with their scams. Next, we have phishing. Phishing is basically done in a motive to loot our sensitive informations. So you would have received mails asking for your bank account details, your credit card details, etc. And you might also, having some mails in your inbox that asks for your personal information and stuff like that. It could be any information that is sensitive to you could be exploited with this phishing emails. And then last of all, you have scams. Scams are all mails which creates an urgency asking for money. You would have received mails urgently from a relative asking for money, saying that they are having an emergency. And we do not tend to have the time to re-verify if at all the person is really having an emergency, and we would just send the money for the time being, and that could become a scam and we would be exploited. So these are the 4 different types of email threats we will be discussing now. We saw a one-liner or a simple explanation of all these, but we will be seeing in detail how this works. So shall we move to the next topic? Let's see all of these in detail now. First, what is spam? Let's say, for example, I love shopping. So, what would I do is when I sign up in a shopping website, I will use an email ID just for the time being. That will be my mentality. So, after I shop, I will forget about the shopping, the cost, and everything. But the website will not forget my email ID. It will start sending me mails for the discounts, offers, anything at all they would like to inform me of. But that's no use to me anymore. That is just occupying space in my inbox. I wish to delete it. So that's called a spam. For example, this is how a spam email would look like. See, it says I have offer and I can click on the shop now and I can shop this particular for this particular deal. Yes. So what would you do when you see such a spam email? You can check for the from address, unsubscribe, or click shop now. If I'm a very shopaholic person, what would I do? Is I will go and click on the shop now and I will want to shop even more. But is that the right solution? If this is really a legitimate email, then that is okay. I might be taken to the right page where I can shop even more. But spammers will make use of this advantage where they will pose as a legitimate account and they will send you such mails where you will click on the option that they tend or intend to make you click. Doing that, they will understand this is a legitimate ID and they will start to send you even more spam emails. So if you're going to ask me, if this is a spam email, let me just go and unsubscribe it. So you have an option called unsubscribe here. Is that the right option? Then that is not. If you click on the unsubscribe option, the normal thing that has to happen is you shouldn't be receiving any more spam emails from this account, right? But that won't be the case. Where when you click on the unsubscribe option, you will subscribe as a person into their database saying, this is a legitimate user and we can send even more spam emails to this person. This is an active email ID and it's ready to get all the spam emails we are going to send them. That's how it will impose to them. So do not click on the unsubscribe button as well. You have checked the from address option here. That will be the right option. On the top, you can see what is the from address. And you can see this does not look like a legitimate from address. So what you can do is you can ignore this mail, delete this mail, or you can do the right thing. And what that is, let's see, what is the solution? Reporting spam. It's very, very important to report your spam because when you delete a mail, it is just going to get erased from the particular space or platform for the time being. But the system will not learn anything. If you're going to report it as spam, the system will learn that this is a spam email and this is a kind of a pattern the spam email is maintaining. And when you mark more and more spam, the system will come to a conclusion. These are all spam emails and these are all legitimate emails. And henceforth, it will help you to identify spam emails even more. So it's always recommended you report the spam emails rather than deleting it or ignoring it. Okay, so let me show you how you can do that. So let's just say I'm opening a mail and I feel like it's a spam email. Then I have an option here, as you can see, the down like arrow. Yes, click on that and I will have an option called mark as spam here. Yes, you can click on that and you can directly mark it as spam. Yes, so that is one solution. What is the next solution? Blocking the email address. Let's say if it has happened for once, you can mark it as spam, but it is coming simultaneously a lot of times, it's becoming often, and this email address is something that you are noting often. Then you can go and block that email address saying, if at all I'm receiving mails from this particular email address, it is definitely a spam email. How do you do that? Is going to the settings here you can go to anti-spam list. Okay, there you can go and add an email address saying, if this email address sends me mail, please mark it as spam. And henceforth, if the person is sending you mails using that email address, it will directly go and fall into your spam folders. Okay, so that's another way. Then you also have use disposable emails to sign up. So this is the right way to sign up for any website that you want. Even if you want to shop, if you want to register, you're using some public forms, do not give your legitimate email ID just like that, because anybody can use that data and exploit it any way they want. So make sure you give a disposable ID. Disposable ID is nothing but just like your email alias, right? It will not have an inbox for itself. It will just pose like a legitimate email, and it will make all the mails directed to your actual mail address. The advantage of the same is whenever you want, you can delete the mail. Yes, so that's called a disposable email. Make sure you make use of a disposable email whenever you want to sign up for some public forms or shopping, anything that you want. Last of all, set organization wide filters. So as you can see, if you are a strict person that I don't want any more of these, subscriptions or anything to come inside my inbox, what you can do is, if you are an admin or if you know who the admin is, you can also pass on the instruction saying, in the admin console, there is an option where you can filter emails with patterns, saying if the subject contains this word, or if the contents of the mails contains these words, offers, deals, discounts, such as that, please regard it as spam. You can give this instruction in your admin console, so anybody at all in your organization receiving these mails will directly go and fall into the spam folders. So that's about the solution to your spam emails. You have reporting the spam, blocking email address, using disposable emails to sign up, and also setting organization-wide filters. Moving on to the next topic. What is phishing? As the name suggests, as the name give you an idea, phishing is a method where people send you mail with a motive to collect some sensitive information from you. It could be your password, your credit card details, your bank account details, your address proof, something like that, where you will be given an framework where you believe the person and you start to give in your information. So that's about phishing, and let me show you an example. Here, in this particular mail, it looks very legitimate, doesn't it? It even has TLS verified. Make sure you understand that TLS verified doesn't mean this is an authorized mail. Okay. What would you do in this situation? View the file or check the from and reply to address? If I'm going to view the file, click on this button. It might take me to some malicious websites where my system data could get corrupted. Okay, that there is a possibility for that. So to avoid it, what you need to do is check the from and reply to address. Here you have the from address and the reply to address being different. So this is again fishy. So make sure you review all these things and analyze if at all this person is a legitimate person or not, and then go about downloading or clicking on any links they sent. This is the first scenario. I would also like to show you another example. Here, you can see that PayPal is sending a customer a mail saying your account detail is a little compromised and we would want you to reconfirm your account details. So when such emails are sent, do not click on these links immediately just to go and confirm your details. Make sure to check the right columns. So for now, you know where to go and check first, the from address. As you can see, this is a spamming or phishing email. Why do we call this phishing email? Is here they're asking us to click a link and give the information of our sensitive data. So if we are going to go and give our data, this is a phishing email and we are going to be scammed, right? So this is an example of a phishing email. So what is the solution? Now we know how to identify the phishing emails. So what do we do about it once we find out it is a phishing email? The first thing to do is report the phishing email, so that again the system understands if at all you receive mails where the information is being asked, and if PayPal is sending you mails, such informations will be taken into account, and next time you receive such a mail, it will give you an alert. You have blocking email address again, which we already saw. Organization-wide filters for these. And last of all, you have check twice before giving in the details. Anytime somebody is asking you a password, reconfirmation of the account details, your personal information, or your credit card or bank details, do not click on the link or download the attachment. It could look like the legitimate email address, legitimate institution sending you the mail. It's okay to take your time. Check twice and analyze if at all it is sent by the legitimate one or not, and then proceed with the instruction given in the mail. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can report the phishing now. For that, let us go back to this page, and let me again show you here itself how to report a phishing. Click on the more action available here and come down to find report phishing. Okay, click on this option to report this mail as phishing email. As we already saw, if you wish to block the particular email address, go to the settings and anti-spam list, and you can block the particular email address. Okay. One thing I would like to also clarify here, since we came to this page, is you have the trusted or rejected emails column here, right? I would like to just give one small suggestion for this particular feature, which is trusted list is nothing but when you receive a mail and it is important to you, if it goes and stands in the spam emails and you do not want that to happen in the future, you can add the email address here saying, if I receive mails from this email address, please do not go to the spam folders and come and land in my inbox. That's the basic instruction of giving any email address here. But before adding any email address here, make sure you double check that that particular email address is legitimate. Because if you add any email address in the trusted list, the verification check will not happen for that email address anymore, which could pose a threat for you. So make sure you only add legitimate emails here. Okay. So I just wanted to add that one point since we came to this page, and moving back. We saw the solutions that needs to be done whenever you find out a phishing email. Moving on. What is spoofing? So some of you might already know what spoofing is, but to re-clarify that, spoofing is when somebody sends you mail posing to be someone you know, using different methods. They could actually look like the legitimate organization, just like the font style, the font, the color palette, the font style, the color, everything will just look just the same of the particular organization that you trust. And you will believe it is the actual organization or the institution sending you the mail, and you will go forth with the instruction given in the mail. So that's called spoofing. And there's also other methods like cousin domains and making use of display name fraudulent methods. So what is the difference between these methods is perfect disguises. There will be no change at all. They will just look just like the email address that you used to always receive mails from. And how do they do this is there's something called as SMTP server, which is responsible for the deliverability of emails over the world, across the world. And sometimes what happens is genuine SMTP servers are capable of authorizing if at all the mail address is belonging to this person or not. But certain unsecure SMTP servers, which are not secure enough, will not do this authorization. So somebody will be easily able to take someone else's email address and pose as though it's their own. Okay. And that's the first method. Second method is cousin domain. Cousin domain is a domain which looks similar to the actual domain. For example, let me tell you one domain. Okay, let me name a domain called web hosting. Okay, if the web hosting is spelt instead of the W with the double V, it will still look like web hosting, but the spelling is actually wrong, right? So in those cases, again, we will make a mistake. We will not take a second look. We will just open the mail and we will be put to the consequence that the mail is putting us to. And then you have display name fraudulence, which is, for those who know what display name is, who do not know what display name is, Display name is nothing but even though you have an email address, let's say priyanka.gs@zohocorp.com, I can still have a display name for me as Priyanka, Priya, Priyu, whatever I want. And that will be the name that displays in front of my email address. Following that, my email address will be displayed. Okay, that's called a display name. Anybody can customize the display name just the way they want. So there are a lot of people who exploit this to their advantage as well. So what they do is, in companies, we will have default display names as CEO, CFO, something like that. So if somebody's going to send you mail with the display name as CEO, following that, they could have random email address. We may not look at the email address just by looking at the display name. We will open those mails. And again, we will be put to the consequence the mail is intending us to be taken through. Now, let me show you an example. In this example, you can see that a CEO of a company or of a bank is asking money to an employee that particular bank has, saying, I need money immediately and not in a position to ask anybody else. And if you send me, I will give it back to you in just a few days. So since it is a person in authority, an employee is put in a pressurized position where the person doesn't have much time to think about. So it's always necessary you do not reply to this mail and go forth with paying the amount the person is asking. So it's okay that you relax, that you take your time and think it as if at all the person will definitely ask you money and such a big amount in such a small time. Ask all of these scenarios to yourself and answer it to yourself as well. And also re-verify it with the person. So whoever it is, it's okay to give it a call. It's okay to ask people who know them and ask if at all this person really needs money and then go forth with the message. This is one such example where you can see display name spoofing is made use of. See, this is just random email address. This could not look like a legitimate one, or even if it is, the person is using a different display name of their own choice and spoofing us with the same. This is another example. Here, again, you can see it's been sent from an email address, but here you can see Zoho mail is spelled with 2 zeros instead of 2 O, but it still looks like Zoho mail to me. So I may not take another look at it and directly go and do the instruction that is instructed for me in the mail. What it says is my account is being compromised, or it has to be renewed, and I need to change the password. So when I'm going to click on this account or this particular link, it might take me to a page where I have to give my previous password and set a new password. With that, the person will be able to take a log of what my previous password was and will be able to breach my account easily. So it's always necessary, if at all you are sent such mails, you re-verify if this mail was sent by a legitimate user or not, and then go forth with it. I have one question for you in this particular mail. If this is authentic or not? Definitely not. If it is phishing and spoofing used here, or only spoofing? This is a question. You can answer me in the chat tab. If this is phishing and spoofing, or only spoofing? A little, clue here. Here, in the from address, you can find that the cousin domain method is being used, and also I'm asked to give my password here. So with that, you can give me the answer in the chat tab. And let's move on with the next slide. What is the solution? So now that you found out it is a spoofing email, first, report it as spam. Second, block the email address. And then set SPF, DKIM, and DMARC verification. Again, if you are an admin, or if you know who the admin is, you can pass on the instruction saying, there is a verification called SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. In layman terms, these are just verification that proves the mail is legitimate or not. Let it be from your side or their side. When you send a mail, you also need all these records just to prove that your mail is legitimate. Same way, when you accept a mail inside your server will also ask these verifications, saying if that mail holds SPF, DKIM, DMARC records, right? Let's say the mail has failed these verifications. Then what you need to do with that mail? The mail probably is legitimate or probably is not. You can choose to move it to spam, quarantine the email, or reject it. Let's not go into quarantine. Let's just stick on with rejecting or moving it to spam. You have these options. So when you do that, you will have an option to let the email inside your organization or not, even before it breaches. Last of all, equip with the knowledge to know the legitimate sender. For you to first understand if the from address is a legitimate user or not, we have to make sure we scrutinize and we always concentrate on the from address. The more we concentrate on the from address, the more we know the changes that happens in the from address. And only then we will be able to immediately spot if at all there is any change. So always equip yourself with the right information, the right email addresses that needs to fall into your inbox. The last type, scamming. So as I already told you, scamming is a particular mail which creates an urgency for you to send details immediately or to send money immediately. And it always holds keywords like urgency, emergency. I really need it immediately. All those things will be there for them to scam you. Let me show you an example. In this example, you can see that I need some cash and it's really urgent and it's being sent from a relative. Okay, the relative is stating my child is in an emergency. I'm not able to reach you in the phone, and I really need so much money, and I would really appreciate it if you send it immediately. So, is this an authentic mail or not? I don't care. I want to re-verify if it is or if it is not. That should be a mentality. So make sure you call the person and talk to the person, or at least talk to someone who the person knows and re-verify this information before you send the money. Because if you're going to send the money to a person you don't know, or if you've been scammed, nobody can be questioned and your money is lost forever. So make sure you re-verify and then send the money. What is the solution to scamming emails? Is think twice before you make the payment. As I already told you, for information or for money based or details based, if you receive any mails, do not worry, relax and think twice if it is a legitimate mail or not, and then act. And then you have reporting spams, blocking the email address, setting an organization email filter, pattern filtering. As we already discussed, this pattern filtering, where you can set filters for sender based alerts and also patterns, subjects, attachments, contents. With all this, you can filter your emails. Only an admin will be able to do this. And then you can also set sender based alerts. Sender based alerts is if you have people who are not in your contact or external contacts, etc., and if you wish to be notified of the same, you can also enable this option in your admin console, and only admins can be able to do this. Once you do that, you will be alerted if at all you're receiving mails from a non-contact or an external person. That's done. So now coming to the main thing. I told you what are the types and what is the solution. But what does Zoho as an email provider offers you is that we will give you alerts saying if we think a mail is probably a spam email or a phishing email, we will send you alerts saying please do make sure if this is a legitimate user before you go forth with the instruction depicted in the particular mail. So that's about alerts. And now I'm going to show you all the alerts we have for you that we will show you if at all you're being scammed or spoofed. First, you have spam reason alert. So in spam reason alert, you can see that if you mark a particular email as spam, or if you are going and blocking a particular email address, and in the future, if you are receiving a mail from the same person, you will have this alert saying the sender email is listed in your blacklist. And you also, if you receive a lot of marketing emails, it will be listed as this is a bulk or a campaign email. You have sender-based alerts. So the sender-based alerts is something that you have to enable in your organization. So if you are an admin or if you know the admin, instruct your admin to enable this so that if you want to be alerted or notified if a non-contact or external email address is sending you a mail, enable the option and such an alert will be displayed to you. Then you have org-based or rule-based alert, which is If at all, you set some restrictions, as we already discussed, patterns, subjects, contents. With these categories, you can regard a mail as spam and you can set some rules in your admin console. When you do that, if as a user you are receiving a mail with such categories, then it will be alerted as such, saying flagged by your organization rules. Then you have web bug presence, which is nothing but some of the attachments or links present in the particular mail has a tracking attached to it. So it could be genuine tracking. It just wants to see if you are clicking on the right, if you're clicking on the register button or, I like it, something like that. They want you to click and just making a note of how interesting the particular platform has been to you. It could be genuine, but it could also be malicious. So always make sure if you see such a icon followed by an alert here, you make sure that it has tracking to it and you can go forth with following the instruction or not. It's totally up to you. Then you have virus alert. So when you are receiving an attachment or a link, and if there is a virus attached to it, then we will send you an alert such as this saying it is a virus alert. So it's always recommended, always, when you do not know if the particular person is a legitimate user or not, if there is an attachment, view it using the view option that we have provided you. It is a preview option, okay? Do not always go with the download option and then go and view the particular attachment. It is not that recommended. So here you can use the view option, see what the attachment is about, and if it's really, really important to you and is legitimate, then you can go about downloading it, all right? And then you have executable attachment, which is nothing but there are certain attachments which will come with a set of instructions. When you click on the particular attachment or a link or a button, it will have to discharge the particular instruction that was given to it. So it could be a genuine one where just to collect the information that you have given in the particular mail, or it can also go up to breaching your data and getting all your sensitive information as well. So make sure it is totally up to you if at all you want to go forth with a particular mail or not, and you will be displayed with such a alert if it is a executable attachment. Now, coming to the main thing. So we saw what are the types, what are all the issues that are already existing, and what is the solution that can be provided, and what Zoho offers for you as an alert. Now, on our part, what we can do is the very important part. In the preventive measures, the first thing that you can do is to set a strong password. Why is this important? Is our normal tendency is when we set a password, for the time being, we'll set a password. And then whenever we want to set another password for another purpose, we will set the same password because that is what we remember. Again, this goes for another purpose and another purpose. So at the end of the day, we have set a weak password for a lot of purposes. And that's going to cause an issue because if a spammer finds one password, he's going to breach all of them. So what you can do is, first and foremost, whenever you set a password, take 2-3 minutes of your time and set a strong password. Mix alphabets, numbers, upper and lower cases, and special characters. When you use all of these criteria, it will be a strong password. Then, do not use the same password for different purposes. If you want to use different passwords for a lot of purpose, then you can use a vault, where you can save all the password and have a master password to it. So that's the first step. Second step, let's say you did have a strong password and someone breached it. This is where they have to stop. Two-factor authentication. This is an extra level of screening that you set, saying, even after I type out my password, only if I give my fingerprint or face ID or an OTP, a push notification, only then my account has to be opened. That is an instruction. So two-factor authentication allows you to do that. So if at all someone else is trying to breach your account, they have to be held at this particular step called two-factor authentication. So Zoho offers you 3 different ways to set that. Zoho OneAuth, SMS-based OTP, and OTP authenticator. Let me just show you a quick video on this, on how to set it for you. Yes, so when you sign in, you will be prompted to set your two-factor or multi-factor authentication, and it is very important for your security as we were already discussing. Here you can see Zoho OneAuth. Click on the sign up now and give in your further informations. So once you do that, you will be taken to a page such as this, where you can choose to give out your password or a push notification or touch ID, and you can enable it. You also have SMS-based OTP, where you can give in your phone numbers, where you will receive an OTP every time you try to sign in your account, and you have to verify the OTP in order for you to log in. Okay, so I just wanted to show how this works. So this is how you will set your two-factor authentication. Moving on. S-MIME certification. What is this? It's a certification that you can buy for yourself, and this works only when the other person who you are trying to send a mail should also have the same certification. So the certification holds two different keys, public key and a private key. When I send a mail to you, let's just say I have a person in my professional circle called Namita, and she also has the same certification. I'm trying to send a mail to her. When I send a mail to her, my mail will be encrypted using this key and will be successfully sent to Namita. And she, on her side, should have a key to decrypt it. In simple words, to open it. So once the mail is decrypted, the mail will be visible to the person. So this is an extra level of screening, or I would say extra level of security that you can set for your mail. Then comes the other preventive measures on a lighter terms. Never give out your email address in a public forum. Use your disposable emails or email aliases, which you can delete later. Do not give your personal or frequently using email IDs in a public forum. Do not interact with spam emails. Sometimes this happens. Somebody will be sending you mails a lot of times, and you will get all fed up, and then you will be sending a reply mail saying, please do not send me mails anymore. That's a very bad move. Don't do that. That's not just the one type of interaction that you can do. If you click on any link, or if you're going to just click on the unsubscribe button as well, it is an interaction. Do not do that. Instead, go and report it as spam. Beware of links and attachments that you click. When you open a mail, do not click on the link or the attachment that is provided for you, unless and until you confirm it is a legitimate person sending you the mail. Next, avoid using public Wi-Fi. This is also a way people tend to get the information of your accounts or whatever that you're trying to access. Never access any of your personal or sensitive information using the access of a public Wi-Fi. Last of all, reporting spams. Do not ignore, do not delete, rather report your spams. Yes, so that's the preventive measure that you can make use of. And yeah, that's about whatever I wanted to cover in this particular webinar.